What's up everybody, Gerald here and welcome back to a very quick update video where I'm just going to basically run down where I've been, what's been going on and why there's been no videos. So it's been nearly 3 months since I last uploaded and I've just been incredibly busy. I've been stuck at work quite a lot of the time and it's just has meant I haven't really been able to get the rods out. It's not through lack of trying. I have managed to do a few hours here and there and I've done a couple of day sessions up on Steve's, but not a lot's happened, so it wasn't really worth filming. Now, I say not a lot's happened. I have actually managed to catch a few fish and a few people around me have also managed to catch a few fish, so I'm just going to quickly update you on what I've caught. So we'll start off with the catcher of one of the target fish that's up on Steve's. Unfortunately, it wasn't me that caught it. It was Richard. He managed to go and bag himself the Z fish, and since then it's actually been out again. So the fish is on the feed. I was very lucky to be on the site at the time when he caught it. He gave me a call and said, "Are you here?" Luckily for him I was. I managed to run up there and get some cracking photos which I'll put in here for you now. So as you can see, what a lovely fish. Really happy to see it. I'm great angling mate. Came out of the first the bay swim, and since then I've been fishing that swim quite a bit as well, and I've also managed to catch myself one of the bigger ones. Unfortunately it wasn't a 30, but it was a lovely 28-pound common carp, which I'll throw in now with a nice little clip and a few pictures. What's up everybody, Gerald here and welcome back. I don't know where I'm going to put this clip, but as you can see we are up here on Steve's in the very first swim. And we've got a fish and it's a good one. I'm going to get myself all situated and then I'll show it to you, but it came on the middle rod, which is just off the rushes over there. Perfect cast right in that little gap in between the weed, and finally we've got a decent fish. So like I just said, I don't quite know where I'm going to put this clip, but we've popped up the Steve's to do a couple of hours. We jumped in the first swim and I've put the middle rod right over by the rushes and the bramble where I normally would fish, and within 2 hours we've gone on and got ourselves a lovely fish here. It's not quite a 30, but it's definitely one of the better fish in the lake. It's a lovely 28-pound and a couple of ounces common. We're not going to count the couple of ounces, we'll just call it 28-pound. Look at that fish. Finally, after all the time we put in, we've got one of the nice ones. So we're going to get some photos of it, then we're going to get it back and we're going to try and catch that 30. Look at the size of that thing in there. Oh, it's massive. So like I say, finally, one of the better ones. Let's get it back where it belongs. Right, another day. Thank you very much. Get in! So, as you all know, I normally go fishing with Dan. And Dan's actually been in France at Crete Lakes and he's absolutely whopped it off. He has something crazy like 30 fish. I know the biggest was like 45 pound, maybe 48 pound, I can't remember. But he absolutely whopped it. Had loads of fish. Very first day he got there, cast out, within 5 minutes he caught a 45 pounder. And then sat there for 2 days, didn't catch nothing, decided to make a move. And then after that, it was pure carnage. Next time I'm fishing with him, I'll get him to give you a rundown, basically of what actually went on and how many he caught. But it was a lot of fish, and the majority of them were 30 pound and upwards. So happy days, mate. Well done. I'll throw in a couple of pictures because he was sending them to me, obviously, just to wind me up a little bit, just to say, look where I am and look what I'm catching while you're stuck at work. So I'll throw in a couple of them pictures now. Great fish, great angling. I also made an attempt at the 24-hour rod challenge. Now, I got a lot of this on camera, but for some reason when I'm trying to edit it all, it just doesn't seem to go together. So I'll give you a rundown of how it went. We started off basically on club, and within 5 minutes I managed to catch one. I'll throw that clip in now. So here we are. I've got 10 ton of weed with it, and I haven't got a set of scales, but this is definitely one of the bigger fish that live in club. As you can see, there's a lot of weed here. That looks quick. We haven't got a lot of time. We need to get this sorted and moved on. So let's get the fish up. It's a lovely common. Oh, it's quite long. It's a long fish. I'd say maybe 15 pounds, 16 pounds. It's quite heavy, but happy to get one of the better ones out of here for the first fish on the challenge. Let's get a picture of it as well. Another quick look. Let's get a picture of it, get it back, and move on to probably Chapel or Willow. That was a great start. I couldn't believe it. I caught one pretty much straight away. So then we moved over onto Chapel, and again we were there a couple of minutes. I walked around and I managed to find some fish right down in the bottom of the lake where a lot of people don't go fishing. So I managed to find a few carp down there. Again, cast out, and Bob's your uncle, we've gone and got one. Found me a couple of carp, so we're going to get the rod out and see if we can get one. So it's 12:05. Didn't take us very long down here either. So this is a great start. The harder lakes are to come. We've gone and got ourselves a very lively little common. It's only tiny, probably about 4 pounds. Get it back up again. The small ones are always the liveliest. There you go. Nice little gold common. Looks lovely in the sun. If he would just behave for 2 seconds for the camera. There he is. Let's get a picture, get it back, and move on. Now from there, I'm pretty sure I moved on to Willow. Now Willow has been one of those lakes where it's very hit and miss. Either you get down there and you catch loads, or you get down there and you catch nothing. So I got down there expecting to catch one because I've been doing quite well down there, as you've probably seen from a few of my videos and a few of my pictures. But I got down there and it just didn't look right. I knew it was going to be tough. I found a few fish feeding in the edge, but they were just having none of it. No, it was quite warm, but there wasn't even any fish like cruising around on the surface, so it was making it quite hard to locate. Apart from them few fish that I found in that little cut in the bay where the tree's fallen in, if you know the spot, I couldn't really find anything else, and they weren't biting. So I gave up on there, and then I went to, where did I go from there? Terrapin? Yeah, went up to Terrapin. Now again, Terrapin is a lake I know quite well and normally do pretty well on. But I got over there and I could see loads of fish. I could see loads of fish in that very first swim. And again, they just weren't biting, and it was just so frustrating. So I tried and tried and tried, and then luckily for me, gold is like directly behind it. So I was bouncing in between the two, just trying to get a bite. The fish were showing, but they just were having none of it. Not like the first two. I got off to such a good start down the other end of the complex, then to get onto 2 easier lakes and just really struggle. It was quite frustrating. So I thought, right, what I'm going to do is I'm going to let it cool down a little bit. I'm going to take a walk all the way up to Basil's, which is a lake, as some of you will know because I've spoke to you about it when I've been on the bank, is a lake that really frustrates me. It's again a lake I used to do quite well on, like when it very first opened, and I managed to see it getting dug and everything. I learnt the lake quite well, and I used to catch quite a lot of fish. And since then, mainly in the last 2 years, it's really kicked my butt when I've been up there. So I went up there expecting to not see any fish and not catch anything. Now I've walked up there, the lake is completely empty, I've got the whole place to myself, and I was like, they're going to be right down the other end on the big double swim in the channel that goes around to the back bit. But I've walked onto the lake, I've looked to the left in the third swim, and third or second swim, and there was a cracking what looked like a 20 pounder right next to the bank. So I've got down on my hands and knees with my rod and my little pop-up rig. I've lowered it right in front of its face, and it took all of 4 seconds to go.
So that didn't take long up here on Basil's. I came straight up here and saw fish just feeding in this weed, lowered the bait in. It took probably 30 seconds, so let's get this fish in the net and on the bank and get ourselves a picture. It's not a bad one either. So that took all of 30 seconds. Found the fish, lowered it in front of it, head went down, tail came up. Bob's your uncle, we've gone and got ourselves quite a nice one here. It's probably about 18 pounds, it may even be pushing 20. Again, lively because it came straight in. But let me just get that out of the way. Here it is, a lovely big common out of Basil's. Woo! What a cracking fish. Happy days, we're going to get some pictures. Let's get that slime off of him, there it goes better. Let's get it back up just so you can see it a bit better. Oh, real chunky fish this one. We're going to get the pictures, get it back and move on to Mason's.
I was so happy to get that fish. I thought Basil's was going to be the lake that I'm not going to catch on. I'm going to really struggle with it. I got up there and smashed it out of the park. And then I thought, right, let's jump onto Mason's. But there was a lot of people on Mason's. So I was wandering up and down, having a look, just to try and find a spot where I could find some fish. Because obviously it's a timed thing. And I knew I didn't actually have 24 hours. This was only going to be like a trial run. But because it started so well, I thought I might actually be able to do this. So I was walking up and down and I just couldn't find a spot, so I thought, right, let's go back down to Terrapin and Gold, try and see if we can knock them ones off the list, because I could see the fish when I was there. So I thought, if I keep plugging away at it, I'm going to get one. So I've gone down there, I've jumped onto Terrapin, couldn't catch one, jumped back over onto Gold, and I've gone and had one.
So it's 2:15 and we are finally into a carp on Gold. It's been tough going. I'm going to get this one landed and I'll be right back. So here's the fish from Gold. I forgot to take a video of it, so I'll throw in the pictures right now.
So that's what, 3 lakes knocked off? 4 lakes knocked off the list. So I was like, yes, and by this time I'd only been at it 2.5 hours, 3 hours. I knew I didn't have all day, but I had a good few hours left, and sun was up, it was really warm. So at this point I thought, right, let's go like back home, have a rest for an hour, let it cool down a little bit and come back. So what I did was I went home, had some lunch, and then I came back. I went straight to Terrapin, went up into Peg 2, which is, again, some of you know, favourite peg on Terrapin. I've cast the lead out. It took a little bit longer this time, but about an hour or so, and I've gone and got one. Now I've got no video footage of this one, I've only got a picture of it, so I'll throw that picture up now. So now at this point it meant I had Willow, Steve's, Mason's and Paul's Pond left, because I'm not counting Long Lake because that's on a different ticket. Now Paul's Pond, impossible to fish. In the summer it just gets filled with weed. There are carp in there, probably to like mid doubles. So I had a quick look, but it was impossible to fish. There was no way, if I hooked something, I wasn't landing it. So I decided to strike that one off the list and not count that for this time. And I went up to Steve's, had the lakes to myself, happy days. I had a good wander around, managed to find some fish on the thin side, just past the snag, which on an update is no longer there, it's been cut out, thank God. They've also cleared out the little bay, the very first bay as well, just for your information. It's all been cleared out of all the lines. But yeah, just to swim up from the snag, there was quite a few fish swimming up and down, and that's quite thin, so it's only an underarm cast. I put 2 rods out and I sat there for 3 hours and didn't have nothing. So at this point it was, I think, maybe 5, 6 o'clock. I was like, right, let's go back down to Willow. Let's see if we can get one out of Willow. So I've run back down to Willow with all my gear. I travelled quite light, just a backpack and a couple of rods. I've gone back down there, and no fish. No fish anywhere. No signs, nothing. I was getting so frustrated. I put the rods out, sat there, and unfortunately caught nothing. So we failed our first attempt at the challenge. Now, it wasn't a full attempt at it. Really, I should probably be attempting it now while it's got a little bit quieter. This is probably a month since I filmed it to now. It is now October, so this will be the time now when it starts to get a bit quieter. The weather's started to change. The fish will go on the feed, hopefully, and I might be able to get some. So we're going to probably give that another go, probably in the next week or so, and just see what happens. Now, I'm probably going to go up to Basil's and just catch nothing and fail up there, and that's going to be the lake that screws me over. But we're going to give it a go. So that was just a quick update of what's been going on. It's been really good to see quite a lot of you out on the bank while I've been walking around. Like I say, I have been on the complex and I have been around and I have met quite a few of you recently. So that's been really good. Going forward, we're going to get ourselves back out on the bank. But that is it. So until then, I'm going to leave you with all the pictures of the fish that I've caught during the time from the last video to now, and with a little montage. Until next time, tight lines, wet nets, and I'll see you all soon.